Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding Basra Daf and Test. I want to go a few lines back to where we finished yesterday, because it's really the beginning of this Daf, just to mention one thing over here. The Gemara says, starting from the third line of Daf and Test, someone who leaves Torah, the fire eats him up, consumes him. Goes out of the fire, and the fire will kill him. Because of the someone leaves Torah, goes to the Gehenna. Someone leaves Torah, goes to Karafoim, in Refoim al Gehenna. Shema v'lo yoda Karafoim sham bimkei she'oil koreo. So she'oil is the Gehenna, Refoim refers to Gehenna, and that's what we're saying over here. Now here, interesting enough, just to mention, there's two memers over here of the Gemara. One is that and the one one is so how do you reconcile the two? Really, before Shurim are busy with that. The Marshal says they're really talking about two different things. The first one is you have two people that are learning chavusas, and instead of learning, they're battling. So then it's much more common. That's a fire. They're in the middle of Torah and they're learning. The other one talks about someone on his own. That's why that's Gehenna. It's not fire. That's what he learns. The Ma'aral, and so goes with Yitzchak Chaver in Torah, they go at the same word Mahalach. That's two different yanim that you have. A person leaves Torah, first of all, he has fire. The Maharal explains that fire is because the world cannot exist without Torah, so he's burned in fire. And again, it was the lowest place if you don't have Torah. Whether Yitzchak Chaver goes to add a little bit more, that it's really talking about two different Yetzaharas. The Yetzirah of fire is Taiva. The Yetzirah of Gehenna refers to, the downwards of the world. So that's what's referring. That's how they learn two nikudas they have to know the fire, the Torah. But the Torah Chaim says Dover Niflamot. I think even if he doesn't add that nikuda, I think how much comes after what he says. He explains a yesod, and it could be married a little more in Shor Machshav on the Daf, but just to mention, he says everybody goes to the process of Gehenna, but if you have a Talmid Chacham and the Torah, the Torah protects him for the Gehenna. It's Yadua, the name of the Vilna Goyen, the Chassidim say, but the Vilna Goyen, when he came to Shemaim, they told him he has to go to Gehenna, through Gehenna to get to Gan Eden because he was against Chassidus. But the Torah protected him, he didn't feel it. That's what they say. But the point is, this happens because it says, he brings a right, the Gemara Chagiga says, that the Chachamim ein ur shel Gehenna shadas behem. They are in Gehenna, he doesn't control them. So he says, he really says like this: anybody who's not in Torah, so he's in fire, the fire of the Gehenna. If you have Torah, you wouldn't have protection.
Everybody's in fire.
Yeah, anybody doesn't have Torah.
Everybody's in fire.
Everybody's in fire because the fire doesn't control it.
Right.
So someone, that's what it means. Anybody who doesn't learn Torah, if not, according to that, it's mamish. According to Torah's Chaim, the next part of them was exactly the same point. Anybody's praised for that Torah goes to Gehenna, just explaining. It's really the same word, just one. Explains why Shechaltas is in again. And then again he stays there. Yeah, very good. So we learn in the Mishnah, someone sells the location of the fertilization, the manure, so he sells that as well. Anything which is royal mizbeach, for example, an animal. But not the B'dik or the B'dik Habayis, or the Mizbeach. What's B'dik Habayis? Anything you can use for the actual binyan of piece of English. For example, you have a piece of wood, you can build in a piece of English.
Let's put on the fire.
Okay, but the fire, that's Mizbeach. We're talking about, let's say, or a stone. Lo yilam Mizbeach, lo B'dik Habayis, something which is not roy to neither. It can't be Mizbeach, it can't be part of B'dik Habayis. For example, fruit. So what do you do with that? You have to sell it, and the money goes to English. And all these cases, moyalim behem uma b'mash v'seichon. A person who misuses these things is moyel. Moyel behem. Ketzat. Igdish bor milei mayim. He's magdish a pit full of water. Or ashpois milei zevel. Or a garbage full, the area of manure, full of garbage, full of manure. Shoiva milei yoinim. Or a nest full of doves. Sadeh milei asovim. Or you have a field full of grass. Ilo nosiperos, or you have a tree full of fruits. Moyali behen mashvetoichon. You meal and everything. You have Mila in the bar, and you have Mila in wherever's in the bar. Here, it's interesting. Bring Machlekes Rashbam in the Tosis is Meila. When I'm talking about the bar, what's exactly the Meila? Where's the Meila in the bar? The Rashbam says, if you look at Zarat, the Rashbam, the second wide line over here, Rashbam says, "Mo'alim behem imne'eno mehem shel bruto, kegoy nitzniya chafotzov bebor." He puts things in the bar. So using bar is considered to be Meila. Tosis says no. Tosis says it does not work by using something which is mechuber l'karka. So what does it mean in Yeshiva bar? That he took a piece out of the bar, took a mud and used it, earth. Okay, that's if he was magdish, everything was there. He gave the bar to Hekdesh, then it filled it with water. He gave the manure area and then it filled it with manure. He has a nest and then the birds came. He has a tree that then grew fruits. Or a field and then filled it with grass. So Rita says, only it came later. It's not part of it. By a sod and healing that grows from the tree, you are moil. So Rita holds you don't take Gedulei Hekdesh. That's a pashas. So he doesn't hold any. He holds Hekdesh is only when your Magdish comes later. It doesn't matter if it grows on its own or not. Is not Hekdesh. Rabbi Yossi right now brings only the case of a tree in a field that it grows naturally in it. That becomes Gedulei Hekdesh. Tanya, on my Rebbe, near Divrei Rabbi Yudo bebor v'shomach. The way the Gemara reads, Rabbi Yudo's words, it makes sense when you talk about bor and shevach, a pit or a nest, that the water and the birds are not naturally grown from it. And Rabbi Yossi regarding a field and a tree. So what's the obvious question right away? So Rabbi Yossi just spoke about Sod V'Eilan. Hi, man. He argues on all four, and he was saying we agree with two of them. And then here in Rabbi Yossi besod ve'ilon and Mechal Depol Yabor v'Shavach. You want to tell me he's arguing about Shavach as well? For Rabbi Yossi sod ve'ilon come. He said sod ve'ilon. Maybe he's speaking to everything. He says, I really agree. I hold that everything is Hekdesh. What grows naturally, what comes later. But at least agree with me regarding what grows naturally. He says clearly, I just disagree with Sod ve'ilon. So the so clearly it says only that. What Rabbi said is like this. Rabbi Yudo agrees with Rabbi Yossi. Meaning Rabbi Yossi agrees with Rabbi Yudo. He didn't come to say halacha like who. He said, and we find in no place in Shas. Rabbi Yossi did not argue. Don't tell me that Rabbi Yossi brought this as an example, but really argues in all four. No, Rabbi Yossi argues only on bar v'shevach, but not only on a tree and field, but not bar v'shevach. Why? Because it's gidulim, it grows automatically, it becomes Hekdesh. Say what Torah bought. It was empty and it filled up. As we said before, everybody agrees till now. You do moil even what came later. Same thing as we had before. When it has a gidulim and grows on its own, gidul hekdesh is hekdesh or not. But if it's a pit or nest and it grew later, then grow comes later. What about the Bryce that says, that's what the Bryce says. Whatever is in, if you filled it, so you ma'alev, but if his magdish is full. Shimon changes. What does he change? Says the Rashban and last Rashban Nahmut, he chlif shitas. Right? He said that he changed what he said before, and he said that Rikonim, you are moyel mashma soicha. Says the Gemara in Tafanites base, if If you talk about a sod and Elon, why is it changing it around? Right? If you're moil mashma soichon, of course you're moil by the tree. Elama, the machlif is, what are you talking about in the machlif? You're talking about machlif, we're talking about the bar b'shoivach. Look at Lashon Rashbam, the third line of Rashbam. As we'll see in a moment. We could explain. He is machlif. In other words, what is he machlif? That he says ain't more than Mishra Soichel. And it's different than before, he says more than Mishra Soichel. Mash, you're talking about Bor V'Shoivach. Because without Bor V'Shoivach, a tree, why would it change? It's Gedulim. So says the Gemara. Elo Amar Rabbo Machlikas B'Bor V'Shoivach. Machlikas Adar Rabbo V'Shoivach. V'Soda V'Yilam Div Yakol Mo'alim B'Hem U'Mash V'Soichel. Only Bor V'Shoivach is a discussion in the second brisa. But when a tree grows fruits, it's Hekdesh. When a tree of Hekdesh grows fruits of Hekdesh, it's Hekdesh. When a field grows grass, it's Hekdesh. Only Bor V'Shoivach is a Machlikas. What's a Machlikas? Bor V'Shoivach Be'Rekodim My Pligi V'Milei My Pligi. What's a Machlikas? So Be'Rekodim Pligi Plugta Amir V'Rabbanan. Machlikas of Rekodim is a Machlikas of Amir V'Rabbanan Legabe what? Legabe Dova Shlo B'Elohim. So you have a bore, and the water will come there later. Very nice. But I didn't magnish it. It's Dova Shlo B'Elohim. You could be making. So I'm giving to Hegdish the field, the bore, and I'm giving also will come later. The Tais already asks over here, how exactly are you going to give it later? But it's not yours anymore. So he brings different explanations. One explanation is that he's leaving for himself a right to be marketed later. So the Gemara says, that's only fruits of a tree, that's normal. You have a tree, what's going to happen with a tree? The fruits will grow. Who said the water is going to come? It needs to be something which is predicted to come, to be Dova Shlo B'Elohim. And you have over here, Taisis goes on, he brings the question regarding Ha'evet. He brings, what is the mokr that you say, Dova Shlo B'Elohim, for a person who says to Ha'evet, when you're released, I'm a Kaddish. Or Evet says, when I'm going to be released, I'm a Kaddish. So why is that Dova Shlo B'Elohim? It's not Avidah Dosu. That's what he's asking. Either you got a promise to do it, or you talk about a case of Chatzir and Chayrin. Okay. And then Taisis brings a big sheet of Blozor Mi Paliro that says that as long as the goof is B'Olam, it works. You have to have the goof. So the Gemara says, we're talking about that you have water flowing from the chatzir to the bar. And you have doves that are going there and right next door nest, and naturally they go into the next nest. So this water is predicted to come. And these nests are predicted to come. So that's why it's considered to be double that's predicted. Taisis adds, back to the question we had before, how are you giving it over? Because it went through your chutzah, so you're carrying the water. The birds were in the nest, and you're carrying it, so you give it over. That's what he means. So that's the machlekes we record. Recording machlekes is Dova Shlo B'Elohim. I gave a bar to Hegdish, but I didn't give the water. Says the Gemara, what's the machlekes when it's full? He was magdish a regular pit. Rabbi Shimon holds like his father that has said that a Hegdish, remember, if you remember earlier, we learned someone who's magdish, so we say he's magdish b'ayin yafa. As machlekes said, when someone sells, he's doing b'ayin yafa or b'ayin ro. Hegdish ayin yafa. Does Rabbi Shimon know? Only charuv and these trees that are very big. Everything else he's not giving. So he says in the Gemara, he holds like his father that you learn Gavoy of Megdish. When someone sells a pit, he's giving the pit, he's not giving the water. So he gave the pit, he didn't give the water. I didn't give it. That's what he says. It was not part of it. And the parenthesis, he says, of course, why I think of the parentheses, don't learn Gavoy of Megdish, or he holds that. And so in other words, he wants to say it's Ayin Yafa, and I gave Hegdish the pit to get the Hegdish also the water. Say more of a din hedyot loy. You want to tell me that by hedyot, when you sell a bor, you're not selling the water? Fadnan, we learn machar bor mocher meimov. That's what we just learned. Last daf. You sell a pit, you sell the water with it. So hedyot should not be less than hedyot. Amar Rava masnis in Yechidoy. The Mishnah says this yochid. Tanyo machar bor loy mocher meimov. Nasraim machar bor mocher meimov. So it's a machlekes. The Kama holds when you sell the bor, you don't sell the water. Rav holds when you sell the bor, you do sell the water. Our Mishnah says you sell the bor, you sell the water. Is Rav Rabbanan disagree that when you sell the bor, you don't sell the water. So if so what are we left with? So we're saying by hedyot, when you sell a bor, you don't sell the water. So when you do a hegdish, do you do it or not? That's the machlekes. So comes to something fascinating over here. When a person gave a bor empty, you say, according to Abelazar, Rabbi Shimon, is machlif. What is he machlif? He's saying that, yes, I'm giving hegdish the water that will come later. Why? So you're giving it. Whatever's going to come in later to the bar. But whoever is right now in the bar, no. Whatever right now, the water which is in the bar, I'm not giving the water which is now. I'm giving what's going to come later. And according to everyone, it's the opposite. Whatever is now, yeah, I'm giving hegdish, by enough. Whatever's going to come later is double shalom b'layim, I can't give it. The Rajban points it out. Rajban says,
how's that mashman with the lashon that means not what's there now was
that's machlif. Yeah. The Mishnah Brisa said, the Brisa says that you moil b'em emash v'toichom if it's rekanim. If hegdishim mileim, so you moil b'em emash v'toichom rekanim not. And I'm sure Ben Lazar makes it the opposite. Rekanim yes, mileim not. And here, if you look at the Rashbam, Sol Kavua, he says, look at the Rashbam. So in the middle of the Amat Sol Kavua, so he says that when you sell the bar, you don't sell the memov. Miu in the middle of the Rashbam, Hochadein, B'mayim Hasekdish, Kacha Mayim Aborim Lachariket. He does makdish the future water. Dom Odomakid Davash Abloilam. He wants to makdish the water. Now, what the Rashban is bothered by, why does he want to give the water right now, but he wants to give the water coming later? It says, the water is not his right now. So
you're saying you're magdish ayin raw magdish?
Yeah, exactly. Ayin raw magdish, so he's giving the boy out the water. But something is not mine yet, I don't care to give it to them. That's the difference. And one the pliger is magdish. That's it. Yes, one or two options. Maybe the reason the Mashal takes out the parentheses, because there's two reasons to explain why, according to Rabbanan, when you sell the bar, you sell the water. Either because hegdish is different than hedjot, or even by hedjot, if you sell the bar, you sell the water. That's what it is. Okay, very good. We'll stop over here. We shall continue from the Mishnah tomorrow.